until 10 a.m. So please stay with us. Let me start by taking you through the front page of local dailies. Very first, as my guests also come on set, you can actually talk to us on our social media platforms at Vivian Degwa. Vivian, did I get you right? Oh, yes. At my TV, right?
At M. Migwi.
At M. Migwi.
Yes.
Very good. We are here. Yeah. Asante, and at KBC Channel 1. So let me take you through the front page of our local dailies. Okay, starting with the front page of the Star newspaper, Kenya stares at mass job losses as AGOA expires. Kenya stares at mass job losses as AGOA expires. Over 66,000 Kenyans will be affected amid U.S. freeze. Over 66,000 Kenyans will be affected amid U.S. freeze. And that is the story on the front page of the Star newspaper. Still, there is that story about Dalmas, quote-unquote giraffe, who spoke policy with wit and precision. He took his last breath yesterday in the morning, and we still condole with the family of the late former Minister Dalmas Otieno and the entire Rongo constituency. How Jomvu MP spent night with locals at Mikindani slums. That is what I have here. Watchdog now raises alarm over declining police welfare. I want to take you through that story on the front page, where it says that Kenya stares as mass job losses as AGOA expires, and more than 66,000 jobs on the line as U.S. ends AGOA impact. AGOA has been, that is according to Kenya, is staring at a second wave of mass job losses due to the U.S. government's decision to end the African Growth and Opportunity Act, otherwise known as AGOA. 3 weeks from now, or from today, over 66,000 Kenyans employed in the apparel industry alone would not be assured of their jobs if a last-minute decision is not made to extend AGOA, which expires on September 30th. Let me give you some figures here, as of course illustrated by the Star newspaper, that of course there are just 22 days to go to expire, and now 66,000 direct jobs in Kenya's apparel industry is the figure here. And 660,000 Kenyans rely on apparel exports to the U.S. and 54,000 jobs that were affected by USAID Fund Act, and 105 gazetted EPZs as of last year. And we have got the value of Kenya's exports to the U.S. last year stands at 60.56 billion shillings. And that translates to around 67% of youth unemployment rate in Kenya as we speak. But then now, the period that has been proposed for an extension is 16 years. So that is just a quick summary and figures of the Star newspaper. And I'll be engaging my guest here, who is an economist, to also get me what really it means that since there is an enactment in 2000, the Act has been at the core of U.S. economy policy and commercial engagement with Africa. Okay, all right. So the question of gigs, casual jobs shrink, pension growth as new membership drops as well. That is what I have here. To more stories, the story of the Parliamentary Committee on Health. You can't steal a kidney. That's according to experts, tell Probe Team. Inquiry after also focused on this sensitive issue of foreign patients, particularly from Somalia. That is on the case of the kidney, which is also said that it also emerged that despite Kenyatta National Hospital offering the crucial tissue typing test needed to match donors and recipients, clinicians are also often forced to send samples to private labs or even abroad. And so that also jeopardizes the whole process and creates a lot of doubt in that sector. Vast is on the spot of an explained 3 billion shillings spend, okay? And now the expenditure may have led to massive revenue leakages, misuse of public funds. Ambassador Dr. Richard Bosire, who is a lecturer at the University of Nairobi, will be here. He's also been at the forefront of the labor movement and labor unions when it's come to university labor bodies. He'll tell us why, according to the Auditor General, Dr. has just stepped in looking at me because that story touches directly at him. You know, Dr. as you settle, I know you don't have a mic, but I have to put you on the spot that Auditor General says that there is 3 billion shillings unspent. And explained universities on the spot. Is UN part of it? Dr. is just settling. I just have to pull his leg, literally. You don't have a mic, so you can't talk. I see. Okay. Okay, so Dr. Mbai, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you also.
Dr. Peter Mbai is Secretary, Planning and Economic Affairs, DCP. Karibu sana. It's been not a number of days before we did the show together. I hope you're well.
Well, I'm well.
Thank you for coming. The moment we talked, you are leaving Naivasha. This gentleman left Naivasha at 4 in the morning to be here on the show. I mean, he's just a good man. Thank you.
A lot of greetings. And please, Nakuru now is the second biggest contributor to GDP after Nairobi. Nakuru County is the second.
What are the statistics and the data coming from?
Yeah, from the, there's a county development, I mean, the way you have a GDP, there's a study being done to consider how much contribution of counties now to GDP, how much counties contribute. So now we were number 4 area, we came to number 3. Right now after Nairobi is Nakuru. Before it was Mombasa, then Kiambu, but now it's Nairobi. Nairobi contributes about 27% of the national GDP. Nakuru now is about 5%, all the way down, And that speaks something to the issue of viability of counties about sustainability. Because if a county contributes 0.0001 for 10 years, we are beginning to talk about what is the value. Because the whole idea about devolution, thanks to my teacher, Professor Odiebo Mbai, was simply to make other governments that would compete on productivity, so that therefore the bigger wealth of the nation, then it is seen. That was the whole idea.
What are the contributors to this GDP? I mean, number 2 that's a good position.
Yeah, of course. Number 1, how much of course generation of revenue. Yeah, the issue of horticulture, the issue of tourism, the issue of generally the activities that are done in the counties that spur the economy.
Yes.
So there has to be some some what I would call economic activities.
Tourism,
horticulture,
exactly.
The issue of trade, investments, industrialization. Those are the key parameters. But if you look at it, I want to look at it in terms of it is a good benchmark to show which counties can be sustainable in the long term, in terms of economic activity. Right now, the problem is we have counties as cost centers. Every time, give us money. If you don't give us money, we are going to shut down. But they were supposed to be such that you can even lend money. You have so much money that you can say, okay, we have so much money, you can lend. Other states in the USA, they actually lend. Sometimes they give to the central government. They have money. They are richer than even some states in the capital, some counties. So the whole idea about devolution, I want to say that because I'm so passionate about it. Power and resources was supposed to go up there.
Yes.
Then using that little money, you go start the economy so badly, so that now finally the counties are competing with each other. Which one is going to be better in terms of productivity, not expenditure? That's where we are going to get wrong, and we need to take very bold steps. I'll give you an example. We came up with an idea. One is in the Ministry of Trade, to do industrialization in 47 counties. What was the idea? Is to make sure post-harvest losses are controlled. There is an industry whereby there's going to be cold storage and value addition. So Kisii, bring all the bananas there. Instead of selling them at a lower price to Madigiti, some of them will be value added. Will be sold as crisps, banana crisps and all that. So that was the whole idea. And I want to say this again. Devolution was a good idea from the word go, because Kitambo, there was competition.
And I've always asked I've always asked this question, and the good thing is that there is also here governance expert. How counties are interconnected. What county X, county Y, the neighboring counties of Nyamira can do with the counties of Narok and Homa Bay. even up to go to Turkana or Mandera.
Yes.
How are they interlinked?
The whole idea was to create a system, because for me, I'll tell you this, anything without a system, I don't do. Because, I mean, we're in another age. The whole idea was, once you have this county aggregation industrial parks, they will be connected by a system. So, if dengue come from Makueni, park, it would show, it would connect and say, there's dengue in Makueni. Then somebody from Muranga has avocado. Then they would say, I have a lot of carrots from Mount Narok in my home county, right? Then immediately people would place orders. And then simply go and distribute.
I want to take a break. Doctor, what do you think about that? I mean, look at his explanation. That's a very good way to start, because we are talking about AGOA, 66,000 jobs at stake in the next 22 days.
I would say thank you for having me this morning, Victor. I mean, I would agree with him to a greater extent that productivity should be and is the basis of our future as a nation. The value addition, to create jobs. These are really issues that government needs to be taken care of. And every national county government should be focused on how we can do value addition, how we can increase our exports, how we can increase our earnings locally and from abroad to be able to develop our economies, grow our economies, and provide jobs for the youth. It cannot be tokenism across the country, people giving money here and there, and lying to the nation that we are building the nation. We can't build the nation through tokenism. Another point he has raised, which is I would like to amplify, is that productivity of counties is important. This is where production should take place. Industrialization should be the basis of our development. In fact, I remember in the last regime there was this policy on SMEs, supporting SMEs. I don't know why we abandoned that really important idea, and now we went to where we are saying we give some youth 50,000 to start, or 20 to start a salon, to start a kinyozi. That is not the original idea of SMEs. We're supposed to produce. We're modeling against on India, India's their cottage industries and all that, which has kept India as one of the biggest economies in the world. And we have solutions to our problems, but unfortunately we're not embracing them. Finally, of course, for Nakuru... We take a quick break?
Let's just take a quick break. I'll be right back with you. All right, 2 doctors on set already. This is going to be an interesting debate. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you've not missed so much. GMK is on the road, 4 minutes past 7 a.m. All right, so we are just starting the show and warming it up. And the 2 doctors on set started with the issue to do with employment and counties and devolution, which I think is very important. Dr. Busire, there's something you're submitting.
Yes, I wanted to say, Victor, on the point of the race, the competition among counties, is very important. Competition is healthy. But one thing we should remember is that counties did not start at the same point. If it's a race, you begin at the same point. But the counties didn't start at the same point. And again, the intention of counties also is to deal with inequalities. That's why we have Equalization Fund, to be able to push some counties forward. The nature of our country, of course, from the colonial state, is that the settlers, prioritize the development of certain areas, certain places, certain counties, high potential areas. We have counties which could have been forgotten. I mean, regions that were forgotten for a long time. We didn't have even a tarmac road in some places in remote areas of Turkana, Garissa, Mandera, Wajir. So counties are actually to deal with those inequalities. They might not necessarily compete on an equitable level, but some counties, of course, will be ahead of others. And that's what I wanted to amplify, that as you know, the competition is good, but then it shouldn't be looked at like those who do not move faster should be abolished or should not be, should be merged.
Yeah.
Some people have spoken about it in the past. Another thing you mentioned is the infrastructure. Why should we construct a road from, for example, Kisii to the border between Kisii and Homa Bay? There should be collaboration between those counties that they can come together and agree that this road has to be built maybe from, for example, from Suneka in Kisii, go through, somewhere and get to Homa Bay town.
Yeah.
So that we can now move our goods, people will move, movement of people, movement of services can be easier, and then we can share even this prosperity between counties.
Okay. I want us to take a look at this one. Thank you so much, Daktari. Gentlemen, the country is celebrating as well as mourning the death of one of the pioneer ministers, not so pioneers to speak, but one of the former ministers, that is Dalmas Otieno Anyango, who was cabinet stint and failed political whirlwind and so much more. He was, many people described him as a giraffe who was tall enough, with a lot of wisdom, with a lot of weight and focus in life. And now many leaders have shared condolence messages to describing former Rongo MP Dalmas Otieno as a visionary leader and astute businessman who served this country with unrivaled commitment. Otieno belonged among a few politicians from the Luo Nyanza region who defied the region's political godfather Jaramogi Oginga Odinga in the late 80s and remained relevant. And that is a story here. So a quick, because the last time he was on this set was on 17th of May, 2022 with me on set. Let's just take a look at what he said way back then, 2-3 years ago.
With that appointment. I've worked with Martha for a long time, and I've all along known that it was overdue. Martha should have been in this kind of position.
Yes.
She has always been issue-focused, and she had the ability to articulate on any issue she decided to push forward. What has been missing in our case is building teams, so that she was seen almost like focusing on herself.
Yes.
And that has kept her as a strong leader on her own. She would have to change and think in terms of team building. Raila is a team builder, a great mobilizer, a unique gift to bring together a large number of followers. So their combination should go a long way this time in strengthening the leadership on the issues which they will determine for Kenyans.
Right.
Right.
You've said, Wakili, that, you are a different political divide, yes, but it's a win for women in the country, because when you look at our neighbors, we have got Suluhu in Tanzania, we have got Ethiopia president who was here during President Mwai Kibaki's memorial service, we have got deputy president who is a vice president in Uganda, and Kenya, almost 60 years later, this is almost a heartbeat away from presidency.
Absolutely. I mean, it has been a long time.
That was 17th of May 2022. We were just talking about politics ahead of elections, trying to discuss issues on people and politics. And Dr. Mbaye, he was a gentleman. Even from the way he was speaking on television, he had that poise, he was calm and all that. How would you remember the late Dalmas?
Thank you so much. Of course, I want to send my condolences to the family and to pray for strength during this time.
Yes.
Vic, for me, Dalmas are the people in this country, the leaders that we grew up listening to and hearing about them. Remember, we may not know about, but these are people who earned their first degree in 1968, right? Yes. And then by masters before 1980. He already had gotten a master's. I mean, these are what I would call the pioneer leaders of this country. But he got into politics, I think, around 1988, in general elections. And he was, because he was seen to be leaning towards the kind of people from Luo Nyanza who are supporting the then President Moi. I think the PS then for internal security, he grew up very fast because he was made a minister immediately after the elections of 1988, and then he moved on. But there's something very unique about his personality. He crashed with President Moi around 1996 when he refused that issue of importing sugar, and he decided to stay with his people, and that was not easy to go against President Moi.
Yeah, way back then
he was sacked.
Yeah.
I mean, that tells you something about being independent. And he moved on again. He went on to ODM, and then they crashed again with Raila Odinga about some policies. So he's this man, you may think you picked him, and because he was under Moi, then he's going to be a yes man. Yeah. But he had his independent streaks, something which people later realized that this was very positive. And how he bounced back to the Grand Coalition government. Again, he went, made peace, and bounced back. So for me, Dalmas is one of these people who made a lot of contribution to this country. Yeah. We must remember him, and I'll pray, Daktari. I think this country, we don't need to go praising people. Can we be having like annual times to celebrate people who made a difference? Somebody who was in this political in this country from 1968, 1988, being some leaders of some sort. We come to mourn people when they are good, but for the last 5-10 years, when people are alive, we need to have a system, just a system of just saying these are the people who made a difference. And also media can help us because you have the records. You can be able to know who was among that age, who is still alive. Can we celebrate them? But just learning stories about them even. You don't have to go and do much. Just learning stories about them and something like that. I think for me, when somebody falls, then we come here and... But maybe the last 5-10 years, out of life in public service, they've been living very lonely lives. Yeah. Nobody has bothered to just go celebrate them a bit. Do some birthday for them, you know, talk to the family. When is the birthday of this person? Just talk about them a bit. You may not do much, just to remember what they have done.
Give them flowers when they can still smell the flowers. Daktari.
Yes, I remember Dalmas as most people have said, tall, not in stature, but also tall in his brilliance, in his articulation of issues. He was a very, very strong proponent of transparency and accountability in the civil service. And Victor, we can see that I've not had Dalmas in his life or political life being accused of corruption. I don't think corruption...
We don't have that even in our records.
He's a man who lived a life of integrity. He's a man who respected himself. He's a man who was a man of his word. And that is why he was liked by his constituents, and also was liked by politicians from, equally from all political divides. He differs with Raila, but later on, he mends fences. Not that he did not stand strong on his ground, but his time, he was a leader with timeless integrity, impeccable record of integrity and providing that leadership, always able to change things around. And especially in all his life, he was really a person who stuck to the principles of public service. And we shall remember him as having been one of the finest in terms of his intelligence, intellectual capability, articulation of issues, and also actually living by it. I send my condolences to the family. And you mentioned that I represent university dons across at the University of Nairobi, and I could speak across the country that we have lost really a person with that level of intellectual
and talk about that
and service.
Let's do more life and times of Dalmas. But I want to leave this at, I'm going to the higher seat of authority. Daktari. Yes. All right. And you're going to join by a lady here. Dr. Mbai, are you ready for that?
Very well.
Okay. Life and times of Dalmas Otieno.
Dalmas Otieno, a Strathmore School old boy, joined the Kenyan political elite in 1988 when he contested and won the Rongo parliamentary seat.
impunity in this country.
He advanced his political career after President Daniel Moi appointed him as Kenya's Minister for Industrialization from 1988 to 1991, and later that year he became Minister of Labor. He also served as Minister for Human Resource Development and as a Minister of Transport from 1991 to 1996. Dalmas Otieno maintained his support for the government side until 2007, when he joined Raila Odinga in opposition politics. In 2008, Dalmas Otieno was appointed Minister of State for Public Service. In 2014, Dalmas made an unsuccessful attempt to establish his political dominance in the Nyanza region by founding a political outfit to rival Raila Odinga's ODM in South Nyanza. In 2014, Dalmas made an unsuccessful attempt to establish political dominance in the Nyanza region by founding a political outfit to rival Raila Odinga's ODM in South Nyanza. This move later cost him his parliamentary seat in 2017, which he lost to Paul Abwor. In 2022, Dalmas joined Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee Party to run for the Migori gubernatorial seat, but was defeated by ODM's Ochilo Ayako. Dalmas Otieno served as vice chair of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission (SRC) from August 2018 until 2022, when he resigned to contest for a political position. Giverson Minor, Sunday.
That is life and times of the late Minister Dalmas Otieno. Okay, so we also joined by Lena Mati, who is a lawyer and public administration advocate. Lena, good morning.
Good morning, Victor.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Daktari, you want to have a minute based on that?
Yes, actually, the same point I was making, that his role in the public service is indelible. We can never forget Dalmas for standing strong and tall to protect the integrity of the public service. I used to admire him with what he said, how public service should be rendered and how we should behave, those of us who are in public service. Those words of his will live on and on. And not forgetting his political achievements, being MP of Rongo, being minister, serving all the governments, Moi, Kibaki, I don't know, Uhuru also, he served also during President Uhuru's reign. And that tells you the quality of leadership that was in him, that everyone recognizes and actually wanted his contribution to his leadership. And the people of Rongo, I'm sure they are really missed. This is a smart and calm and humble leader that we have lost, except at the point, leaders like Dalmas, once they're not in office, why do we forget them? They just disappear from public life. We should keep, as my brother was saying here, we should keep them alive. Give them some opportunity to speak and also to contribute to public issues while they are still alive and strong. But we tend to think that our life in this country is about politicking all the time. But we should utilize these resources to develop our country, even at the local level, even at the county level. This is a man who was like an encyclopedia about public service. He could advise on what should be done to make our country better.
I agree.
But we often forget these people and listen to those who shout the toppest of their voices in the public podium in order to get votes. But he was quiet. A repository of knowledge should be utilized. Well,
I agree. Thank you. Let me take a quick look on the front page of the Standard newspaper. The Standard says death horror. That is what I have on the front page of the Standard newspaper. Death horror. That is... it seems that the economy is not doing so well, according to the Standard. Well, let me give you a quick explainer. Since President William Ruto took over, the country has been borrowing a troubling 2.2 million shillings per minute, 137.5 million shillings per hour. and 3.3 billion shillings per day. As he marks 3 years in office this week, Ruto has so far borrowed 3.7 trillion Kenyan shillings. Horrified economists now say that and warn that the rising debt lacks practical value for the country. Besides, a look into President promises reveals chivalrous absurdity, from planting 15 billion trees to building a stadium that can host EPL, with the debt curbing promise falling flat 3 years down the line. That is according to the Standard newspaper. And still on the front page, defiant Moi era minister dies. That is Dalmas Otieno. Against all odds, Dalmas knew how to survive politically. Again, what has been said. County officials face EACC in 22 million legal fees probe. A lot of money there. And President grandiose promises, biting more than he can chew, or strategizing deception. There's question of public debt piles up to 12 trillion shillings and counting, but now there is little to show about it. End of 50, 30, 20 inside plan to change school capitation model again. Lena, would you want to go back to 844?
Not really, Victor. Not really.
Okay.
Yes, we may have a problem.
Yes.
We have some problems with the current model, but I don't believe that going back to 844 is better. I believe that we need to strengthen, and also now the stakeholders also need to meet to be able to iron out the crises that are within the Ministry of Education.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Very quickly, on the front page of this Daily Nation, inside the State House, police hiring drama. Okay. Civilian commissioners and police chiefs clash over recruitment. President William Ruto, in a marathon meeting with police bosses that ran past midnight on Friday, demanded an end to tough wars that have stalled the recruitment of 10,000 police officers. The National Police Service Commission now faces defining week in the high-stakes standoff. And of course, there have been that call to do, is it online recruitment or something? I don't know whether it was going to work, Dr. Mbai, how it's going to happen. Okay, that's again. 98% of schools submit data in efforts to curb capitation fraud. Again, come to capitation. And Dalmas Otieno, again, on the front page here. Inside life of priestess linked into the new Kilifi cult. Okay. So much happening. Now, let me ask you this question, Lena. Yes. We have got so many situations across the country. Let's talk about economy, let's talk political parties coming up. And Dr. Mbai is here. He is the Secretary, Planning and Economic Affairs, DCP Party. Since last time we met, what are some of the key highlights? It's been like a number of months since February.
It's March.
It's March, exactly. And here we are now, 5 months down the line.
Yes, yes.
How have you been all through?
I've been well.
Thank
you so much, Victor, for having me again.
Karibu.
A lot has happened. You know, I remember last time I was here, someone said that once you miss an episode in politics, you find that it's a whole Afro cinema.
Exactly.
And it's the truth. So we've seen rise of several political parties, actually. Most of them, you know, youth geared. We've also seen now during this period also the DCP party was formed, and all of them are coming up with, you know, what we call the solution to what is ailing our country, saying that, you know, I think we need to get this president out, we need to get this government out. But I think one of the things that we are lacking in our political parties, in our political party structure, is a clear rooted agenda. You know, I think from what I've seen personally, I'm always saying that I'm still scouting for a political party to join, because most of the agenda are formed or surround within a particular person, rather than clearly deep-rooted agenda. So for me, if you ask me, I think we are not yet very
What are these
ready.
agenda? It seems that you have a lot of expectations.
I have a lot of expectations, especially now because we are saying, you know, Victor, we cannot go back to where we have come from. If we have to go forward, we have to go forward without looking back. So if you're coming and telling me that I'm the best person to offer solution, that I'm the best person to replace President Ruto, you need to come and tell me that this is what I'm going to do to you know, this is what I'm going to do to solve the problem that we have as a country. President Ruto, just like you've read, came into this government, or rather came into power saying, you know, Uhuru Kenyatta has borrowed a lot of money, but me, I'm coming with a solution to provide employment and reduce debt.
Yes.
But now, it's even skyrocketed. Things have become worse. So now I'm imagining if we just go for a person who lacks an agenda and comes and says that, my only agenda is to get this government out. Of course, we want this government out. But we also cannot replace one bad captain with another bad captain. We need someone that has a clear plan on how they are going to help us.
Okay. I don't know who is this person on. I'm to that point because you said that you need a captain who is more focused. Daktari, I don't know why. And Dr. Mbaye, you've been mentioned DCP party. That's the new kid in the block, quite literally. Do you feel attacked?
No. Wakili has spoken her mind. Now, and as Wakili is talking, I'm thinking, what is it that we need now? Right now, what is ailing us, and what is the antidote? What is it that Kenyans need now? Let me tell you the truth. The amounts of the plans and the documentation and the promises we made when we were promoting UDA is unimaginable. There were teams of people from across the world coming up with documentation. We are going to do this on agriculture, on coffee, things, data, like, you get a presentation, you say, the heavens have come down. This is the time now we are going to emerge. But what do we have now? 2 years, 3 years down the line? Extremely corrupts of most of those things. Why? Because of lack of willingness to transform books, into real actions, slowly by slowly, and transform Kenya. And I'll tell you this, there's nothing that was not there. Because some of us were involved. And we went to every state department and said, leave about all these kind of things. We have a very impatient crowd coming very soon. Can we pick 3 things, put them here, and put the money there, and go on? So what I want to tell this country is that these Kenyans today don't want more stories about we'll do 10 things, we'll do again. What we need to clear is a politics of conmanship, deceit, and betrayal first. People need first to have faith that it is possible for a political leader to come and actually be able to lead.
Yes.
That's why you see, going forward, people don't want anymore a one-man show. That I can, me, around that, that kind of a thing. People now want to relax and say, we want a team.
Is that
people want first of all?
What is so different from what is so different in DCP?
That's what I'm saying. The first issue I want you to know, DCP was birthed out of a lot of political betrayal, deceit, and conmanship. So the first thing DCP is coming to do is to bring some hope of saying we want to get a past with betrayal and bad politics. Number 2.
Haven't you heard that, Dr.
What?
We've been here. We've heard of that statement.
I'm just saying now, you are listening to me. I'm the Secretary for Planning, and I know what I plan every day. Now, what we are saying here, Vic, we are getting a departure from what I would say, you come making hefty. But when you get to office, the ability to deliver is not there. Can we first of all agree on that? It's not the plans that we didn't have. The plan thing was very big. Kenya Kwanza, the plan was there. The question is, I think what she's addressing is, can we first agree that the problem we have is simply, can we stem the issue? You go doing all the issues before elections, singing, going organizing tournaments and football and women and boda and all that. But then, when you come to office, the actual thing people don't see, and that's the whole problem. So DCP is coming to cure that first. And then number 2, very quickly, which is important, to say we are not gods, with small g. We think, as DCP, we are not the only people who are created on this earth. We have other like-minded people, young people, millennials, other communities from other regions, other parties. Can we now come, not me running with the ball, but we come and say, hey guys, we are all equal, we are all good people. Can we get the best brains to give an alternative thing of hope first to Kenyans? Because people have given up on political leadership, by the way. Can we do something different? We come together with all these parties. Then finally, 2027, we say, it's not about me being good, but I'm just one among equals.
One among equals. We all have our cups of coffee. Can we all sip it?
Okay.
All right. As we take a break, we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. So let's talk about that you're saying something. I want to give 1 minute to Malize, then Dr. Bosira Ingia.
I like the concerns people have, but also we are avoiding the trap of coming with documentation. It's in my docket, by the way. I would have come up with a documentation to say this word. But we are saying in a nutshell, what the crises people have are very basic. Issues on health, issues on education, issues on security, issues on basic rights like issues like human rights, issues like on agriculture. People know what they want. So we don't want to come and begin, troubling Kenyans with many stories. We are saying we want to take over government in the united opposition so that we can right all the wrongs. And I will go to the point, I'll give an example. Yeah. One, we are going to restore NHIF. You cannot give dog a bad name by saying it's eating eggs, then kill it, then bring something which is worse. A 104 billion system was supposed to detect fraud. You cannot now begin saying, where did the fraud pass over 104 billion, whatever. It's an example. Number two, today my kids ask me, am I in senior grade, junior, what? Even me, I say, let me go and ask the teacher. Because even me as a parent, I am not sure. Now, we are going to restore the dignity among, what I call certainty of education, all the way from ECD, all the way to the universities. Look at how the morale is down today.
What did you say?
I'm saying to restore the certainty of education. Okay. Where you are able to know this is what is going to happen. Now, you mentioned 844. The question is, for me, as a scholar, I would say, has a study been done to establish where we got into a pit and the best way forward? We need certainty. Look at the security issues. Today we are sitting here. Two governors from Tana River and Mandera, they are studying and saying there are people who have come from outside country who have been given a location and a chief. Those are serious security issues. Remember, governments exist to do these things. Health, education, and security, majorly, those ones are not working in this country. We are saying one term, so that not as one individual, we come together and right all the wrongs that have been done. The issues of human rights, the issues of killings, abductions, the issues of transmission. Look at the public debt, 12 trillion. And I will want to say in a nutshell, in passing, because my teacher is here, people who taught me at the University of Nairobi. Professor Fred John used to tell us, it's not wrong to necessarily borrow, but you must borrow to do production so that you pay the loan with that interest and the money helps the economy. Look at the Thika Highway. We paid, the President Kibaki borrowed 27 billion. Anybody can attest the value of that load. Even if we pay, anybody can attest. You don't borrow, Victor, to come and consume and pay salaries and pensions. For me, please, one time is because we want to right all the wrongs that have been done. And that's the summary we are talking about.
Be good to your teacher, otherwise your certificate will be withdrawn. Dr.
This is a lot being said about political parties.
Exactly.
Political parties have come a long way since we became a multi-party state again.
Yes.
To 1990, 91, 92. That's when we started political parties, the current one, and we are multiplied. I think we have done well in that field. But strengthening our political parties has been a challenge. And the Constitution attempted to do this, and the legal frameworks are there to even finance political parties from the public offers. Yeah. But it seems the problem for me is the people, is the leadership in this country. We have a leadership that does not believe in strong institutions. And therefore, even in political parties themselves, they obliterate the parties, or they weaken the political parties so that the personality becomes dominant. They are working against the aspirations of Kenyans that political parties should be institutions. They should outlive individuals. But the politicians want to show us that they are more important than the political parties. Yeah. Actually, you have to do what the politician says, or the leader of political party say, than doing what is engraved in a party constitution. Secondly, Wakili mentioned about what is ailing the country. We can't say we want change and all that. When it comes to the point where there is frustration among the people, they might not exactly say what really they want, because the assumption is everyone knows that Kenya is suffering. Everyone knows that education is not properly funded. Everyone knows that the university, the model, the financing model of students' financing model of the university is not working. Yeah. So whoever is coming, we expect someone actually who will fix the problems. not to sing the song like we have heard the songs, we shall do this. I remember that UDA, and as you mentioned, they went out to every county, charters, everything was collected. And even beyond that, we have policies in this country about everything. Yes. Then what is the problem? The problem goes back to leadership. We need a leadership that's responsive, accountable, and that has integrity, that will actually focus on the public good. When we have a leadership in the country at all levels, even at the local levels, focusing on themselves to steal from public offers, to enrich themselves, rather than to serve the people. I've seen even a small road in my place was constructed. The other day it was graded and marramed. Poorly done. And they have finished and left. Yeah. Why don't we do a smart job when we are given money? This is a public road and this public money. Why should you pocket public money?
Is it about having a predictable development policies?
Policies, Victor. We have all these policies. We have all these policies. They're there. Like now in education. Why should someone say in a day, I'm changing the funding model for university students to something called mean testing and all that? Students are neither rich nor poor. They have no social status or economic status. All of us are students. It just provide a system that equalizes all students. We learned through that system. Our predecessors, our leaders in the past, making mistakes. I couldn't have gone to university if this thing was applied. And where did we get this funny thing, which is not working? And even when it's working, the politicians, including the top politicians in this country, are singing a song somewhere else and saying this thing is working. SHA is working. SHA has a problem. I mean, you close hospitals. Patients, where do the patients go? These hospitals are the ones that actually complement the poor public services we get in health in our public hospitals. You close them, where do these people? They flock now to the public hospitals or the few facilities that are there. Are they not going to die? Yes. Do we care? Does the leadership care? Why can't you do your own investigations, complete investigations, arrest the culprits, leave the organization continuing, the hospital operating, so that people get help? You know, I look at that and find, what has ailed this country? It's because we have believed lies over and over and over. Why can't we, as a Kenyan people, really do an introspection and find out what is really our problem? 3 trillion borrowing. Where has the money gone? Can someone show us what has been constructed with the borrowing that we have done? The borrowing, you read that newspaper headline, is crowding out even the youth from borrowing. The interest rates, borrowing rates are too high. They cannot borrow to do business, to grow the economy. The local banks, I can tell you, even our mortgages, I have a mortgage. Yeah. It went up by 30,000. My mortgage went up. I was wondering, what is gone wrong? Then I cannot borrow anything because now I'm not able to borrow more to do my development. People are stagnant as individuals. Maybe at the higher levels where people are stealing right, left, and center, they are comfortable. But down here that we depend on and we work, we sweat to be able to do something. Okay. They are making life almost impossible. So again, to summarize that, I'm saying the problem is leadership. Is the leader. That's why we zero into personalities. Why should, and my brother here has mentioned, why should you sack a competent officer in the public service, replace him with a political loyalist? And this political loyalist does not know anything to deliver. Yeah. Then we cry that the country is going to the dogs. The top leadership must act in the right manner. I will ask this question. Lena,
yes.
With all the policies available and well put in textbook, all of us can read, but we all go back to our individual corners as voters and say, we get convinced, and all this, the agenda, the party manifestos and all that is what's always floated to us as wananchi during campaigns. So we are the one to blame. Whether we talk about leadership and all that, Daktari, it's us as voters, Wanjiku, to blame.
I think I love that question. And I always say, actually, that the problem that you have in Kenya is two-pronged. There's something like that in English.
Two-pronged.
Two-pronged, yes.
Yes.
We have the leaders' problem, and then we have the citizen problem. Because as a citizen, we are the ones that elect this. The Constitution, Article 1 says that the sovereign power belongs to the people, and the people shall exercise it directly or indirectly through their representatives. Meaning that we have the power to employ and sack our representatives. But I don't know, Victor, what usually happens during the election, because the things that we look at as citizens are really, it's something that is ridiculous. I was hearing in the previous, I was still very naive in politics in 2022. So I went out there and asked my peers, why would you choose candidate A as compared to candidate B? And yet probably candidate A has a lot of scandals, in whatever scandals in accruing over different periods when they were in office. And people were like, that thief is the one that we want. We want, it's better that thief, because that thief, when he steals, he gives back to the people. But now candidate B, when he steals, he doesn't give to the people. And so I asked myself, we already have predetermined mentality like that. How can you be able to get good leaders? Because we've already tuned our mind to say that I'm choosing this person, they are a better thief than this other person. And so I'd say that with time, things have changed, especially in this last one period. I think we've become enlightened as citizens. We can now even be able to detect. Once you see a problem, we cannot be able to detect incompetence and also mistakes. But I still think we still have a long way to go. And I think in 2027, we'll be able to understand, have we taken the lessons that we have learned over time seriously? So
that again sounds so familiar. We were on this same set before 2022 elections, before 2017 elections, before all those by-elections. The same thing you're talking about have been said. Dr. We've talked about this over and over again, and God willing, we'll talk about it even before 2027 election. But Lena, I will still ask you, the Mwananchi, you talked about two people, the leadership and Mwananchi. So where do we draw the line? So that, Dr. Rimbaye, the Mwananchi who is going to be giving you that one vote is quite much aware of his or her right as enshrined in Article 1. I have a feeling that politicians know very well that Article 1 is so powerful that they will always come to navigate around it and crowd with a lot of so many good words around it that when Mwananchi amesikia hiyo, then there is something good for him or for her. Don't you think that's what you do as politicians, Dr.?
Now, because this is what I think. I will say very categorically so I don't lose this point. I don't think I want to 100% blame the voters. Their place is there. But look, when you come and convince the people, I'll go back to leadership. And Maxwell said everything rises and falls on leadership. I can tell you, the moment you are elected, it is you to offer direction. Now, the problem I see, because we have very good case studies for the last few years, is, and I'm sorry, I'll repeat this again, is the fact that there is already the spirit of some conmanship and deceit, some incapacity. You come and pose like this man who knows everything, okay? And you do a lot of drama and PR before elections, right? Then people are easily believed because I admit every day you are part of the people who believed that this is going now to be, heaven is going to come down, you're going to see the kind of speeches and transformation. You could see the stadiums all over in 47 counties. Just imagining them and all that. My point is this. My point is this. That issue of everything is possible with the right leadership. So where the people come in is that you're given all these choices. So can we first take this blame? Let's remove it for some time from the voter. It's us who organize parties. For example, I sit in NEC. It is us who are going to know who is this person we are going to give a ticket. To run on MCA, on MP and all that. And we are saying two things: capacity, because we don't want to be blamed by the people when there's no delivery of service. But number two, of course, loyalty to the party and holding to the ideas of that party, for example. So when our leaders will sit down to pick among 7 of them to pick who is going to be the flag bearer, I mean, we need to exercise our minds. Then we give it to say, this is our flag bearer. I want to go back to leadership. Let me tell you, because this is very important. everything rises and falls on leadership. In this country, when we did the Kenya Kwanza manifesto and all that and all those kind of things, besides policies, Mwalimu, we went and did a practical thing. You are today here in this office. Tell us what you do every day. What have you achieved? What can we do to achieve something better that is tangible? That has an impact, direct impact on the people. 52 ministries, state departments went around. We brought something up, but we place it on the head of the executive to make decisions on how to proceed. Then everything goes cold. We have a lot of, let me tell you, governments work on processes and systems. Even if you come from anywhere, you can't go against that. Even if you want to introduce a new system, it has to follow the procedures. Go consult the consultants, ask them what can we do. Listen to me. Only 0.001 fresh people come to governments. Only the president, the deputy, CSs, and PSs. All the way from secretary and the secretary, all of them are there forever. They are the ones who make governments. Politicians come and go. So if you want to do anything, come and ask them. They will tell you the how. But the moment you come and you want to change everything since Jomo Kenyatta days, on every policy, everything, you want to change it at once yourself. And maybe you think you have some, some gifts that other people don't have. That's where the problem comes. So Vic, to answer your question, you're asking a very good question that you find ourselves here. Me, I think no. Do you know what will happen? Vic, we are going to get leaders progressively from the president to governors to MPs to senators who have an iota of understanding. Because are you telling us, Vic, that all the people that have gone through the university here by Mwalimu, all the people who have done leadership, all the people who have a burden for leadership are not there in this country. They are there. But progressively, they will come out. You are going to see some progression. I am running for Senate in Nakuru, for example. And I don't think, Vic, I am going
Wait.
to
betray. That's the first time we are hearing that. We cannot let that to slip away, Daktari.
I'm just telling you, and I cannot betray my conscience. There is what I am made of. Okay? There is what I know I can do. I went through, studied political science, because I thought I needed to get some understanding of what I want to do. I went did all those kind of things because so that I can serve my people back home. Surely, Vic, studying here, sitting here, I don't think. Once I go and take oath, I am going to betray my people. Because it's not about the salary. It's not about getting packs. It's not about getting 10,000 in the toilets.
No.
It's about simply coming
and you say. No, Doctor, that's what you say.
Can you book a show here?
And you'll stop picking up my calls.
Can you book a show here in September 2027? Can you book a show like now here?
I think this is a nice.
This is a nice conversation. Up our calls. Victor, I'm in a meeting. I'm in a committee meeting. I'll call you back.
For record once, Victor has always on set blamed me. Let me tell you what happens.
No.
Once you are an advisor of an advisor, you sit in the third row. You are not to be seen. Even if you have an idea that can transform the country, what the best you can do is to do a note, give it to your principal.
Thank you.
You don't go appearing in TV shows and your principals are in for you.
Victor, I think, I agree. We can blame the people, the sovereign. We can blame the real sovereign, not their representatives. But how does our politics work? I have an example, for instance, in my county, or my constituency, where the MP of all places in the world, in Kisii County, someone brings people mchele, sugar, pesa. I mean, people who are self-reliant, people who know that we eat from our sweat. And those are the people who have close networks, even to the top of the leadership of the country. In other words, what I'm trying to illustrate is we have failed to control this thing called money in our politics. Our people from the poor performing economy are impoverished, and I will say deliberately, so that you control them. So that you give them 20 shillings or 500 shillings, even if it's 500 or 1,000, to vote for you. And they will say, oh, at least yanipatia chakula, he gave me something. It is frustrating. If I may comment also on bureaucratic instability, we have a problem in the bureaucracy, as we know it from theory, from practice. Bureaucrats are not politicians. Do not politicize the civil service or the public service. Once you politicize the public service, then the service will suffer. because now they will start looking at the people from the light of whether they are friends or they are supporters of whoever has given them the appointment. Bureaucrats should be let alone, as you hinted, to exercise, to use their technical competence, their technical skills and knowledge to be able to develop the country. Now, when you replace them, in fact, immediately Kenya Kwanza came to power, the aim was to replace those who were there. Not to look at the incompetent ones and replace them, but to replace those who are seen perhaps to have a relationship with the previous regime. And those who are in public service actually are partyless. They're not politicians. Even when people go for vetting, I went for vetting myself. We don't hold political leadership. You belong to a political party, but you don't hold political leadership. So that now, when these people, and when decisions are made, because we are told it's bottom up.
So it's loyalty over competence?
No, loyalty over competence, over skill.
Okay.
It was bottom up. Then it becomes decisions are made from the top down. So everyone is fidgeting in an office, in the public service. They can't make a simple decision. They want direction. In fact, I'm telling you, this is the truth. You go and do your research. They're waiting to be told what to do.
Yeah.
Because they're not allowed that freedom to exercise their competence, their skills, their knowledge to be able to make decisions and take action. What about the money? Money is sent to ministries and is taken back. I mean, we are in a bad situation in our country. We need a functioning bureaucracy that is neutral. We need a competent bureaucracy recruited on the basis of merit. You talked about the police, recruitment of the police. If you have scandals in the recruitment of police, then you see the shootings that we have. Police who are not, police is like ministry.
Yeah.
Or it's like becoming a doctor. You must have that inside push to be able to do this work, because this work is also a delicate one and dangerous. And you have huge responsibility to carry a gun and guard me when I'm sleeping. Then you find that people are politicizing. Give me 10 people, give me 30 people, give me 50 people. And if you do your research, then you find that within a certain period, you find that the police is staffed with people from a particular region or whatever to guard you, to protect you. It is about the country.
I don't know what Lena wants to say.
It's not about ourselves, it's about the country. Politicians should actually be loyal to the nation. Let them commit themselves. How long do you live?
That sounds so easy, Daktari.
I mean, how long do you live? Why do you want to steal everything? Why are you taking these things? When other people are dying from diseases, you're actually eating people's medication.
Great. Lena, what did you say?
I wanted to
She looked at me as if like, Victor.
Yes, I wanted to address something that our daktari here to my left.
Maybe you can differentiate. I have two titles. I'm ambassador and doctor. And doctor. So
please don't.
Or teacher and student.
Yes,
oh yes.
This is my teacher, so don't just call him Tafadhali. In his presence, my PhD comes down. Tafadhali, don't make that mistake of trying to call us doctors here.
Otherwise,
I'm going to get trouble. And you see, it's just a cross. Follow me to the office.
He's a good man.
Which year did you?
He's a good man. Yes, Lena.
Yes, I wanted to say something that Daktari student has just said. He said that most of the time the blame ought to always be with the politicians because they're the ones that come and blame people. But Victor, I can tell you for a fact, there's no one that can steal from you if you're not careless. There's no one that can come to blackmail you if you don't look like someone who can be blackmailed. The problem with our voters is that they are so gullible. They are very easy to blackmail. Actually, Politics 101 demands that, a politician will come up with a narrative, slogans, rhetoric, and all that, to appeal to the emotions of the people. Then they will go out there and tell the people, you know what, I have a plan, this is the plan. But behind all that, there is written, it's just a mere talk. It cannot produce action, And then secondly, we also have a system that transforms upright men into bad politicians. So you get there, you are very upright, just like Dr. Ria said, that when he goes there, he will not steal from the people, not be hypocritical and all that. But he goes there and finds that things are actually different. It's a system that he himself on his own cannot be able to overcome unless there is collective work that is done towards that. So when he goes there, he wants to live like his peers, so he's forced to probably steal from, the public.
You start walking and working like them.
Exactly. The talk changes. The way he talks, he's not coming to the people anymore. He's coming and saying, we have a problem here. And yet he told us, I'm going to solve that. But he comes and says, we are trying as a government. We are doing that. It is a system that cannot actually be fought by one person. It can only be transformed by collective work that is done actually within the political parties, within the people, and also within the government. Yes.
Okay. I want to treat that as your closing remark, sadly.
Wow.
No, okay, fine. I'll come back to you. Dr. Yes. The good thing is that this is a place of records. Yes. I can go to the archive and get you something that was done here in the 1930s. Would you believe me?
Yeah.
We'll hold you to account when you become a senator in 2027. Are we all okay?
No.
We will fish it and bring it here.
No, I agreed. And
this is what you said, and you're not picking up my calls now.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. I think I made that very clear.
Okay.
We have to be progressive.
Yes.
Victor, we cannot give up on this country and on governance. We can't give up. So what we are saying from today, we have to make very deliberate moves towards what the future we want to see. Now, and one thing, and Okiri have said, is to make sure some of us who are in positions where we can influence that kind of leadership, we are going to do it exactly that. And what are we saying? Let me go back to the people. For example, we are telling the people, you elected people, there is 90% or so frustration with the leaders who are elected. Generally, it's good to say the truth, all the way from up to the top, from MCAs. Yes, like 90% frustrations. But what can we do better? What we can do better, number one, is to make sure, Vic, that, for example, as a party, we tell the people, please pick your person. Go and line up. When we come to do nominations, go make sure you have the person you want now. Coming to the Wakiri's point. Go make sure these 2 years, you identify the person you want to lead. You as voters first. But make sure you have your pick for the MCA, for the MP, for the women, for the senator. Get your pick. As a party, we'll give the ticket to the person. That is the first commitment we are making as DCP.
Thank you.
We're not going to sell tickets. We are going to give to the highest bidder because that's where it starts. Let's give it to the person that the people say they think they can represent them. That's because we said we must start somewhere. We must make this change. We cannot give up and say it's all done. We know there are parties that sell tickets, of course, and some favoritism and all that. Can we say from whatever each one is, make some progressive commitments to make things better? Okay,
Dr. I want us to finish with this, but my director is good enough. 2 minutes for you. Universities now on the spot over unexplained 3 billion shillings spent. That's a control of budget, saying that the expenditure may have led to massive revenue leakage, misuse of public funds. Would you try to comment on that, Dr.
I don't know what
okay, according to the
money.
According to the auditor report, just 1 second,
yes.
At least 10 universities are on the spot over failing to explain the auditor's expenditure amounting to 3 billion shillings in the period ending June.
I've seen auditors' reports in the past, especially for the University of Nairobi, and there were questions raised by the Auditor General. Yeah, the Auditor General raised issues on almost 1 billion shillings thereabout that could not be accounted for. And one point I remember is the council having spent money, and there were no documents even to show who attended the meetings, when the meetings took place, where the meetings actually took many meetings were done outside the law, because the law requires them to have fewer meetings. They had so many meetings. All those things happen in our universities. But let me say this. Universities, just like any institution in this country, is riddled with corruption. Universities are also part of this country.
And sadly,
we often say
sadly, University of Nairobi is leading 1.8 billion shillings.
I've mentioned that I saw some auditors report 2024, which actually, I will say, we also pushed the report to EACC. Why can't they do an investigation to be able to find who is culpable and where the money is. You know, University of Nairobi especially has had many, many issues regarding property. People are eyeing the properties, the land the university has, and we have been fighting as unions to restore the integrity of the university's properties and safety of the university's properties. And that issue, some of these issues, we have actually forwarded them to as a unions to EACC to address the matters. But let me go back again. There is also, I'm not saying that everything should be on the table. Government, was it government travel, domestic and international?
Yeah.
Was 25 billion. We have a problem in the country, Victor. Universities are reeling in pain. You know, lecturers are not going to teach because they have not been paid their Module 2 money at the University of Nairobi. And students were agitating the other day, and students are saying, release the results. Lecturers are saying, we are not releasing the results until we are paid. Where did the money go for paying the lecturers?
Thank you. When you hear that, Dr. I mean, we really need to have more time, and we are trying to get hold of Auditor General to give us a quick overview of what's happening across the country.
Every institution actually has a report.
Exactly.
University of Nairobi has, other universities have.
The gentleman talking is Ambassador Dr. Richard Busire, University of Nairobi lecturer, political science. His student, Dr. Peter Mbae, who is the Secretary of Public Secretary, Planning and Economic Affairs, DCP, and of course Lena Marty, who is a lawyer and public administration advocate. Gentlemen, lady, thank you so much for your time. And you as a viewer, asante sana for your time. Good morning.